They changed the voice.
Hey, everybody. It is time to Star Trek and especially chill. All right. I feel like people have been most unchill this week because it's another week. So let's Star Trek and chill. We have number one Lower Decks fan, Melissa Longo, in the house.
Lower
In
decks,
her-
lower decks,
in
lower
her
decks.
house.
Lower decks. Lower decks.
We have number one Niners fan, the football team, the baseball team, the Star Trek series. We'll find out. John Orchiola is here.
Hey, everybody.
He writes all kinds of good stuff for Screen Rant. We're going to have a huge wrestling segment between the two of us. It's going to be really good. You guys are going to love it.
Yeah.
Dr. Anne-Marie Seagull is also here. Fun fact, she was in WWE for 4 years. Tell us about that a little later.
Right.
How are you?
Great.
My name is Ryan T. Husk. Let's get it out of the way right now. It's not a Superman shirt. It's just some kind of product. I don't know what it is. All right.
Expensive.
I know. Well, you guys attacked me for it before we went live. What are we talking about today, everybody? Well, we're just going to be chill, talking about our beverages. But also, of course, everybody wants to talk about the Lower Decks Deep Space Nine goodies and goodness. We also have Next Generation's turning 35 or turned 35 a couple days ago. You guys, big, huge, to quote, what's her name? Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. Huge news for Star Trek 4. Big. And by Star Trek 4, we mean Star Trek 14. I don't know why they call it Star Trek 4. Star Trek, the next movie coming out. Big news there. All kinds of stuff. Yep, all kinds of stuff. Well, let's start with that, John Orchiola. Tell us about your shirt, because you didn't tell everybody, just us.
Yes, this is my Niners shirt. My friend gave it to me for Christmas a couple of years ago. And what's cool about it is it's actually personalized. If you can see my last name on the back.
Whoa, that's a great gift.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Mhm.
I might be overdoing it with the whole Deep Space Nine thing, but I'm just that excited about Lower Decks last night.
No such thing. No such thing. Deep Space Nine, Deep Space Nine, Deep Space Nine. Works with that too.
All right. So let's talk about what everybody's drinking today, because that's all that matters on a Friday night. We need some kind of refreshments. Hello, Matt, David, Glenn, Wayner, JR, Linda, One Trek fan, and all. What are you drinking today? I'll start. Today, I'm having a refreshing O.J. Simpson, and it is in our delicious 10 forward glass.
With or
Tastes like a
without
Buffalo
pulp?
Bills running back. What?
Do you drink it with or without pulp?
I think this one is without pulp, but I tend to prefer it with pulp. And Anne-Marie, you have just launched us into our first poll of the day because I'm definitely a with pulp kind of guy. What are you drinking today, Anne-Marie?
Okay, I still haven't gotten shopping for alcohol, so I just put like a little nip of Fireball. Just the fun.
Wow.
I mean,
Is it
it's
delicious?
fall now. I haven't tasted it yet.
Hang on, I'm writing out our pulp.
Now I just want
thing.
orange juice with tons of pulp.
Oh, you're a pulper too.
Oh yeah, like the option that's like the most pulp possible.
Wait a minute. No, you tried to pull this trick. This is Pulp Fiction. Melissa, what are you drinking today?
Water out of my lovely not Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is in my head. Out of my Star Trek Day flask. Woohoo!
My Live from Tokyo says O.J. Simpson, ouch, that hurts. Ugh. What about you, John? What are you sipping on today?
Oh, Some Canada Dry ginger ale in the Cork Industries glass.
Woohoo!
So I'm really all in on Deep Space
Star
Nine
Trek
today.
Day.
I'm really overdoing it.
Yeah.
Ginger ale's great stuff. Shout out to our
It
friend
is.
Andre Kottman. He and I used to always have ginger ale and ginger beer. One time we even had a ginger beer tasting party because we know how to party, and we just had like 15 different
Invite
kinds
me
of
to the next
ginger
one.
beer.
I
That
am
well, here's the
down
problem
for
with that. That's when I found out that they are very high in sugar content. I didn't know that. Then on my third one, I was just like, God, it just felt like I just like ate like a pillowcase full of Halloween candy or something. I was like, what's going on? And then we looked at it, it's just got tons of sugar in it. Oh, well, you can't drink as many ginger beers as regular beers is the moral of that story.
What you need to do is like you do for the wine tasting. Do
Yes. And spit it on each other.
Yeah. So sticky.
Okay. So Chuck A is drinking cherry juice, berry juice, and H2O. Whoa.
Oh.
Linda Anderegg is going down to pick out a hard seltzer. Yum. Refreshing.
That's what I want. I need to go to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm. Glenn Iverson is drinking his favorite Jewish wine, he says. Happy New Year.
I do
Little
love
belated.
Jewish wine.
Rob Marr is drinking tea. Rob, what kind of tea, though? That's the important part. What kind of tea? J.R. Poole, people that are watching this show for the first time are like, are they serious? Like, are they really going to just talk about what kind of tea? Somebody in the live chat said, yep.
This is quality programming.
Yeah. Let's see. Wayner's drinking water out of a glass. Interesting. Okay. And
Well,
so on.
Elizabeth 8791 is light, and she's got the emoji of a brewski.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
What kind of
lighter
beer?
the better.
So cute. The little emoji.
Was it Michelob Light? When I first moved to LA, I used to hang out with a bunch of Brazilians, and they were just all obsessed with Michelob Ultra. Like that was just the thing. They all got it. They all got it, and they all got it. And every time there was a party, they would all bring 24 packs of it. Every time they'd go to a bar, they would get Michelob Ultra. They'd go to a restaurant. And I was like, well, what's the big deal about? Is it that good? I don't know. Nobody? Okay.
I can't remember.
I don't
Yeah,
like
it was.
beer.
Yeah, I think it was okay.
I love the taste of like the aftertaste of beer. It's so yummy.
You love the aftertaste of beer?
Yes. Okay. So like when I was really little in St. Louis, and every couple of weeks my dad would take me to Grant's Farm, which is like an outdoor zoo, but it's like owned by Budweiser. So it's like a kid's like family place, but they would have like all these beer samples. So just like I always think of it was like a very intense smell, but it always makes me feel like I'm little when I smell beer because of this crazy Budweiser sponsored family children's place.
I'm not a fan of intense smells.
Oh, I love it.
Faith Howell is drinking in Cardassian's Sweet Intrigue, a la Cardassians.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
Rose Kirby has just announced that today is World Vegetarian Day.
Melissa and I are vegetarians, so we're both very happy about that. Thanks, Rose Kirby. Okay.
Yes.
We are going to talk about Star Trek and Deep Space Nine and Lower Decks, but we know what's the most important thing: the poll. It is a close one right now. No Pulp is beating out Medium Pulp, and With Pulp just barely. It's neck and neck, you guys. So get in there
and get juicy.
Save us, John.
Juice, right?
I prefer pulp. I'm pro pulp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I basically just want to drink it orange. It's so good.
Just Rosie says, "Ooh, I'm vegetarian too." Nice.
Oh.
So, all right, John, behind you. Oh, you guys, everybody in the live chat, spoilers. So earmuffs. Also put your hands over John's background, but hang out in the live chat.
It's a little late.
Did you love this Deep Space Nine episode? I feel like the consensus is not only that people loved it, but that people are saying, can we just have an animated Deep Space Nine, like just a season 8 animated? Even who cares if it's Lower Decks that makes it? Anybody will take it, right?
Yeah, it really did seem like a proof of concept for an animated DS9 series. But it was a beautiful episode. It was a homecoming for everybody who actually really loved Deep Space Nine, which is me. I tweeted yesterday that, for me, Deep Space Nine was kind of the place I imagined myself living in the Star Trek universe when I was watching as a kid in the 90s. Much more than the Enterprise, honestly. I wanted to live in the Promenade and hang out with Jake and run around with Nog and go to Quarks and go to Vic Fontaine. I would live in Vic Fontaine's like Nog did. That was always my dream. I just wanted to live in that 60s casino with Vic Fontaine. So it was beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful episode. And like Sirach said last night, I loved also how immersive it was. Like it really puts you back in Deep Space Nine, just how beautifully it was animated. Everything, the details are all right there, right behind me. I mean, you really couldn't ask for more, except you could ask for more. We can get into that. But
one of my favorite tweets that I saw was someone like, this should be a backdoor pilot for a Deep Space Nine animated series. Which I was like, this is so meta because obviously there was already a series. So like the backdoor pilot to get the series back was like, yeah, they should do that. That's amazing. So
I would love it. Okay. Anne-Marie, if they could only have 4 characters returning on this animated backdoor pilot series, Quark and Kira are 2 of them. So you get 2 more. 5. Morn is 3.
Okay.
Who would be the other 2?
Just adding.
Obviously Jake.
You only have 18.
Jake, and then besides Odo and Nog, I would never want somebody else doing their voice. I would say Rom or Lita. I don't know which one.
Well, you have to pick one.
Okay. Lita, maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. It's impossible to choose.
That would be fun. Like she's a representative of the Ferengi Alliance, there because, and so Rom, she talks to Rom and whatever, but she's out on the front lines representing the Ferengi Alliance like a champ.
As main characters, are you asking?
Yeah, like if they were only gonna bring back like the 4 of the main characters, like they did Kira and Quark, or they would be main characters on this backdoor pilot. Who would you have, Melissa?
Whoa. Definitely Jake, of course. Yeah. He has to be on Deep Space Nine. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to say Esri because we need another female. If we're continuing on from where we left off from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, and Esri could be piloting the Defiant too. 6 years later, she could be Commander Dax at this point. And I think there are some things like that in the books where later on in the books, she becomes like a first officer of the Defiant and things like that. She moves into command and stuff like that. What about you, John?
I would probably say Bashir and Esri as a couple, which they set up at the end. Bashir was the one I think for some reason I missed the most. I just wanted to see him, even if he didn't speak, even if he was just hanging out at Quarks. I feel like they could have just animated everybody and put everybody in Quarks
Yeah.
And I just see why they didn't.
That's a
You don't
great
need-
point.
Mm-hmm.
The way they did Tim Russ, like in the premiere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, because they did that with Morn,
I
Right.
was kind of thinking that they might do that with Vic because they had the music playing in the background at the bar, and I
Right.
thought we might see Vic Fontaine for a moment, but no.
Faith Howell says Quark, Kira, Garrick, and Wayun 15. J.R. Poole says Jake and Julian. Julian can be a link to Garrick and Dax and Lita. Interesting. How's Julian a link to Lita? I
Because
feel like I
they
almost said
dated.
Toledo.
He wants to see his new dress line.
Julian and
Especially
Lita
because
used to date,
Ferenginar
right?
is still like behind on fashions because they only started just like
Or ahead.
only started wearing just women. Ferenginar, Ferengi
Oh.
females only just started wearing clothes. So
Yeah.
the
But
fashion isn't that great yet.
But would Garrick still be tailoring? Because isn't he back on Cardassia helping to fix it?
I want him to be on Kronos
Oh.
as a
Gardener.
cook. No, because he's been a tailor, he's
Yeah,
been
the
a
Romulans
gardener,
told everybody to be suspicious.
and now
of
he could be like a
gardeners.
busboy or something like that. And then he's like the wacky
gosh.
Garrick show where he's a
Oh my
busboy
God,
but
he
like
could be-
listening in.
He could be on Earth at Cisco's restaurant peeling potatoes like Cisco was like at the end of season 6. And he was just like sitting in the alley peeling potatoes.
Let me shuck some oysters. Yeah.
You're right.
And then they would just keep making clam jokes. Like, how many clams is that? We don't use a monetary system anymore, Garrick. And then the laugh track kicks in. Like clams
How
is
many
slang
clams?
for bucks.
Yeah.
Like that's 10 clams, buddy.
I know. Smelled
Vic
a
Fontaine
little,
would get that joke.
smelled a
Yeah,
little
Vic Fontaine would
fishy
have
to
loved that
me.
joke. Watch your mouth.
Smelled a little fishy to me.
Vic Fontaine would steal that for his opening act.
Yeah. I did always love the way Ira Stephen Bear like knew all the Vic Fontaine lingo. Like on a recent episode of The Seventh Rule, I asked him, like,
Yeah.
did you have to go back and like
Of
50s
course he
it up
knows it.
or
Bada
gangster it up?
bing.
You know, like
Bada
go
bang.
back and be like, okay, how can we make this line more 50s? How can we 60s? How can we? And he said, no. He said he just naturally knew it. He said that's the easy stuff to write. So this guy was
I love
quite the
that.
pro with that lingo. Hallie.
I love Deep Space Nine for that reason too, because they played around with different lingo, different ways of speech. It makes the world building that much better.
What if Esri and Bashir's baby had a play date with baby Cisco? Faith Howell
And
mentions baby Cisco
Kirayoshi.
and
Yeah.
Kirayoshi, and Molly's babysitting them.
Who's
Well, yeah. Well, she's like 6 years after. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in her teens.
Yeah.
She's, okay. So we do have these guys, everybody, before we hit record, John was bullying me, telling me what our next poll should be. So forgive me.
Typical.
Typical John.
He's so rude. I can't
That's
believe
so
he's on the
aggressive.
show. What are you even doing here?
I just forced my way onto this show.
Amazing.
First of all, everybody's dying to know the orange juice pulp question.
Oh, yeah.
22% of you said medium pulp, 37% of you said no pulp, and 40% said with pulp. Wait, I guess with pulp and medium pulp kind of makes it confusing, doesn't it? Because that's kind of the same thing. I meant like lots of, sometimes there's like a medium pulp kind that, whatever.
Heavy pulp.
Yeah, but I don't
Pulp
know.
Fiction.
Amory, do you love orange juice? You know who loves orange juice? Sirach Lofton.
Sirach.
What about you?
Oh yeah,
Amory?
I've been going like every morning this week to Juice Generation to get like very heavy pulp orange juice. So good.
That was a funny poll. Yes, no.
Yeah, sometimes it just sends one without us doing anything.
Yes,
Oh my
no.
God, no one even voted. Our voter turnout is so sad.
Yes, no. But we do need some more thumbs up. Woohoo! Hit that like button.
Briefest
Woohoo!
poll ever. Hilarious. Yeah, and I saw in the live chat someone asked if we know the Cisco baby, if it's a boy or a girl. Like, I can't remember in the show, but
Well,
I just
in
assumed boy because of the
season-
documentary.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. In season 8, they made him a boy, but in Penny Johnson Gerald's headcanon, she had a girl, which would be interesting.
Confusing. Maybe they had twins.
Oh,
That is so
Yeah.
something like mystical
yeah.
that probably they would do for a quarter profit.
So, John, would you say this was your favorite Lower Decks episode of the season and or the year? I should say the series, because it's all been 1 year in this season. Or one of.
It's one of. It's definitely one of. I really love the first episode, the one where they went back to the first contact and saw Zephram Cochrane's in Bozeman, Montana. I love that episode. And then for overall series, I really love season 1's Crisis Point, the one where they did the parodies of all the Star Trek movies. I really love that one. So, but I would say
there's a
top three.
sequel coming.
Which one was that?
Yes, I know.
Crisis Point? What was that one? I don't
A
remember.
movie.
That was the one where
the
Mariner
credits
went on
flying.
holiday.
Yeah, really cool.
And she turned it into a movie, and she was really just working out her issues with her mother.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was a really good episode, but just the spot-on parodies of the Star Trek movies with the J.J. Abrams visual effects, and when the
God, the lens flare. So we're so funny. I rewatched that one like 2 days ago, and I was like, "There's even a lens flare like off of a leather chair." Like,
Hey, that
so
chair was
rewatchable.
pleather, and you know it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
these are just such rewatchable episodes. So good.
Our buddy meteorologist Katie is in the live chat under so many random I said meteorologist Katie is in the live chat, our good buddy.
What?
So many random son of a
Oh my gosh.
What's up, Katie? She's working double duty, you guys, so wish her luck. Oh man, do you guys really want to know
vote for
what's in
no.
the burrito? Oh, let me ask you, can you change your vote in a poll once you've entered it?
Sometimes I get so excited
cool.
There's a poll, I by mistake vote early.
No, yeah, and I do, well, I vote early because it doesn't make it go away until I vote. So I can't see what's happening in the live chat. And so, and then somebody will make an argument to say,
forces you to.
Yeah, but then somebody will make an argument for something, and then I might change my mind because of it. And
okay, well, this poll, we know which way the wind is blowing. No pun intended. The question was, do you want to know what Ryan put in his burritos for lunch today? 71% of you gave it a resounding, I guess. It was just organic tortillas from Trader Joe's, some Rosarita refried beans, some vegan smoked Gouda cheese, and some hot sauce droplets. Some hot sauce droplets that were really good all over the burrito.
Keep doing that. It's great.
Yeah.
No, that's what I did. That's the sign for
we're gonna clip this.
And like you just put it all over, and it's the hot sauce that I actually got for free called like mule
Oh, I thought you were gonna
sauce.
say Catch Yourself White.
Mule hot sauce. No, I wish John got that.
Oh, I haven't even tried my
I'm
Catch
so
Yourself White.
oh, I want some of that too.
You haven't tried it yet?
We should do a dinner party and just
maybe.
and sample the Catch Yourself White.
Yeah.
All right. Let's make it festive with like guacamole and nachos and things like that. And we'll go all out. Margaritas, burritos.
Queso.
Okay, everybody.
Nacho
How
cheese.
impressed were you with the description of my burritos? It's pretty boring.
Mule.
It was like mule sauce. It came with those it's so weird, but like those Voyager documentary magnets.
Leola root magnets.
Yeah, like the Leola root magnet and the Neelix chef's hat magnets. That company that, yes, those, the company that does those, it's called like, God, I already forgot the company. But anyway, they're like, would you like some free hot sauce that we make here in-house with that? And we're like,
that's so random.
You make magnets,
random.
And in the back, you also make hot sauce. That just sounds crazy enough to work. So yeah, sure. So shout out to them.
Crazy
Their company is.
That's amazing.
It's kind of sweet. I think their secret is they make it. It's kind of like Tabasco-y, Tabasco sauce, but like a little sweetness in there. Pretty good.
I'd like the sweet though.
Yeah.
I'd like Tabasco sauce though. Yum.
Okay, everybody in the live chat, what is your favorite hot sauce? There are so many good ones out there. What is your all-time favorite hot sauce?
And then there will be a poll.
No, because we can't. There's more than 4. I bet Anne-Marie seems like the kind of person that would say, I don't like hot sauce.
Okay,
Am I right?
So my old college roommate, Meg.
Am I right? I'm actually right.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, damn it.
So she had this like place in St. John, the Virgin Island. So one time we went down there in college, and a family friend named Trinidad Charlie, he ran
Awesome
these like
name.
eco cottages. He's so awesome. He's like a real character. But yeah, he had his own brand of hot sauce called Trinidad Charlie's. So that's what we're always eating.
Was he
so
from the
cute.
island?
And for
Is he
her
from
wedding-
the island of
Yes.
Trinidad? Wow,
Yes.
cool.
He's like
Caribbean.
such an amazing character. And then for her wedding, every single person like got a goodie bag with Trinidad Charlie hot sauce. So fun.
That's so
Bob-
cute.
Bob D says, don't write menus, Ryan. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
very good.
Everyone's like, we can sleep now knowing what was in the burrito. And
That
then
was
Faith
so
Howell
boring,
was like,
too.
I
There's
got
nothing-
distracted by Katie.
Aww. It wasn't that boring.
John, what's your favorite hot sauce ever?
Ever? I'm not sure. I like Crystal hot sauce.
Louisiana.
Which
It's from Louisiana
I
or
didn't get to
something.
try until I moved to California, until I moved to Los Angeles. I couldn't get it in Boston for some reason, but I like it a lot. Frank's Red Hot is a go-to. It's a classic. And then there's all the kinds of really exotic ones, but I don't remember any of the names. But I've had quite a few over the last year or so that have all been really good. I just don't remember what the label said.
You know what would be a really
I like
cool
exotic,
gift
like a
box?
different flavor.
Would be like a dozen hot sauces from around the world, like sample
Yes.
size. Oh my
Yes.
God, that
I'm
would be
sure that
so
exists.
good.
I bet
Sampler.
there's like
sure it
a hot
must.
sauce of the month club.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Peter
What's your
Karupa
favorite?
says hot sauce is
Peter's
nasty.
Get it.
It
Come on,
hurts my
Pally.
tongue, so I can barely eat any.
What about you, Melissa?
I'm not that big of a hot sauce connoisseur, but I do have a favorite, and it is the green Tabasco sauce. It's so
Yeah.
delicious.
Mhm.
Yummy
It's a
and
good one.
tangy and not too spicy, but it's got that kick.
Mm. Wait, Amory, did you just say you don't like hot sauce?
It hurts my tongue.
So I was
Like-
right. And
Well, I have like tiny Trinidad Charlie is like special, like I love his pumpkin one, but I just put like a little bit in my Bloody Marys
pumpkin.
and then cut it with extra celery. But yeah, it hurts my tongue. Like this one of those like famous, what's it called? Dave's Hot Chicken or something just opened across the street. And I'm like, I can't go there. I'll be like drinking milk all night trying to help my tongue cool off.
Man, I used to go nuts at Popeye's chicken.
Oh, there's a Popeyes too. There's
Before I
like a
was
chicken wars
vegetarian.
downstairs. There's a Dave's hot chicken or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Dave's Hot Chicken. Yeah, in New York, right? That just opened.
Yeah.
That's brand new.
Yeah. Oh, good knowledge.
Yeah.
And there's a Popeyes and there's a Chick-fil-A within like one block of each other. It's crazy out there.
I have a confession to make. I've never eaten at Chick-fil-A.
So obviously,
in my life.
I don't.
I didn't even know that they existed until
I thought it was called Chick-fil-A.
like 2008 or something.
In the Midwest.
I never even heard of it.
Well, yeah. In Colorado, they call it Chick-fil-A, and I had it when I was not vegetarian as a teenager. And the only thing I liked there were the waffle fries, but barf now.
Sounds good.
Well, and
one Trek fan says, I've given that for Christmas. Oh, assorted hot sauces to my son and my dad. Both love hot sauce. Yum.
That's a great gift.
Or assorted black licorice from around the world.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Now you're talking my language.
Wait a second. Peter Karuba is in the live chat. Peter, come on.
Just what I
He's
just
checking
said.
up on you.
Oh, sorry. He said hot sauce is nasty, and so is cilantro.
That's what
However,
I said.
Or cilantro for
I'm
me.
in my own world.
Totally just read his thing.
However, you read it incorrectly because Peter doesn't pronounce it cilantro. He calls it cilantro for some reason.
Yeah.
Cilantro.
Oh,
cute.
Sorry, my bad.
Anyway, John, we promised you Star Trek talk. So let's talk about
talk is just as good.
I know. How about this? While we're talking Star Trek, everybody in the live chat, if you have a fun play on words with hot sauce, like Ketracel white hot sauce, let's hear it. Like regret it in the morning sauce. That was
That's
right
a
off
good one.
right off the cuff.
That was great.
Zing zing.
Anyway, so John, yeah, we were talking about the Lower Decks episode all day yesterday, but we never got your take on it. You know, you obviously loved it, but do you have favorite moments, some things you would have changed, some things that made you laugh really hard?
Not change, but add. I would have loved to hear or see any mention of either Cisco. I think that was the big elephant in the room that we never really had addressed. I mean, I love the scene when Kira was looking at the porthole and at the wormhole.
So beautiful.
Yeah, because that was all of us. We were just waiting for Cisco. Anything, any sign of him. And Jake. I wanted to see Jake. But
we got a hint of
Cisco
him
mentioned last week at least.
because he said, I wish I was talking to a junior reporter or something like that.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
That was cute.
And in his seat. So who else would it be? Our favorite junior reporter. Yeah. I think the scene I laughed out loudest was after Kira made Quark turn over 72% of his profits to the Karema, and Kira was like, wouldn't you rather be in than in jail? And Armin goes, no! Like just the way he yelled, no!
He had such a squeal there.
Yeah, his scream.
I thought it was incredible.
His squeal, yeah.
I loved that Ferengi scream.
Make that sound.
Oh.
Yeah,
So I thought that was a really good comedy.
I wonder if Mike McMahon or whoever was directing that episode was like, give me more, Armin. He's like, how much more? They're like, just scream. You scream it like you're on DS9.
Scream it like you're Nog.
Or if that was like his first take. If he just did that in the first take and they all kind of raised their eyebrows and was like, yeah, that was good. We want that. I always wonder like what they envisioned and then like how it kind of came out. Yeah. Galenda says, I like cilantro cooked, but not raw.
Interesting.
Isn't cilantro the seeds that come off cilantro is a different thing, like oregano or something like that? Coriander. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Good knowledge. Well done.
I also saw it in the live chat, but I knew that before.
Oh,
but Glenn,
it was in the live chat.
I did know that before, but Glenn Iverson I think said that as well. Credit to where it's due.
Well, Anne Marie, we didn't actually hear your thoughts on the episode yesterday. You are oftentimes on the 7th rule free-for-all, but you were suspiciously absent last week, as if you were saving. Sorry, the free-for-all.
As if you were resting up for Hocus Pocus too. Yeah. No. I just like didn't. Everything was already being said because it was such an amazing episode. So I just wanted to make sure everybody else was having a chance. But I mean, I absolutely loved it. They like carried it off so well. Kira and Armin and like Quark were just amazing to hear from. And I loved the Easter eggs. And it was nice, at least we got like a Cisco's been referenced in other episodes. So I felt like, especially because he was just referenced like last week, I felt like that even helped you, like, not that you didn't know what Kira was thinking when she was looking out the window, but you definitely knew. I loved it. And it was like subtle, the lighting was amazing. It like, even in animated, you could tell you're like back on the station, and the music cues were awesome. I just loved it all. And I want like way more Deep Space Nine coming up. And it's also really fun. I have Ira on First Alert on Twitter, but today he started like responding to some people's Deep Space Nine Lower Decks comments. And one of my favorites was like, somebody randomly was like, why isn't Kira in a uniform? She was in a uniform at the end, which obviously she was just in a uniform on Cardassia, because like that was how like
it was
the Cardassians would help her. Yeah, exactly.
She was on loan to Starfleet. She was in Starfleet.
And then someone was like, well, Bajor should have like joined the Federation by now. And Ira responded by saying like, one of the things he's most proud of is that he didn't have Bajor join the Federation. So it makes it so much like more three-dimensional.
Yeah. I think it was a good choice because it's not the obvious choice, you know.
Or like that easy. I mean, it's very rare where like the Federation starts looking into something and it doesn't go as planned on the show.
Right.
I was like, this is so much better.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, aside from Attached, that weird planet with like
seventh season, Next
paranoid.
Generation.
Yeah.
Where Beverly Crusher kept going, coffee and croissant.
Oh my god! That is like the most sexual tension on TV ever. But yeah, I also liked it because one of the two alien races that they were there to investigate wanted to join the Federation, the other didn't, and so that's another one where like Riker wrote up that they don't deserve to be in it. So it's fun when things don't go like exactly as planned, and I love that Ira like drew that out for all 7 years.
Yeah, because it's more real. It's
so good.
Honest storytelling because life doesn't always go as planned.
Mm-hmm. And then Quark, I love that he's still dressing like so spiffily.
Yeah. Spiffily.
Yeah, it's just perfect.
We have a new poll,
and the Quark's
you guys.
merch was amazing.
Yeah.
The what?
But it's
the Quark's merch.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That foam hand is so funny. Oh my god.
The
ears were hilarious too.
The ears were the best.
Yeah.
So good. And the little Ferengi doll. But yeah. So cute.
Ears to you. Yes. Quark's outfit was brilliant. I've never heard the word spiffily before, but now I wish I had because it's perfect.
Yeah.
New adverb, everybody. We have a new poll. The question is, which would you rather Lower Decks do? More Deep Space Nine episodes or visit another previous Trek series? So would you want them to just keep going back to Deep Space Nine, or do you want them to go over to Voyager and get yelled at by Janeway, or like go over to, and the Enterprise with Archer and have Archer like sigh at them or something,
Oh wait, you know what we didn't mention?
Back in time.
That Aaron Walkie was in the live chat last night.
Yeah.
That was so
for the whole time.
Cool.
He didn't even just pop in for a bit. That was amazing.
He's in the live chat right now too, Emery.
No, I love that
maybe.
I love that he was like, oh, after this, I need to look at ways for Prodigy to go to Deep Space Nine, or like
yes.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he doesn't even just say he's a fan. He like legitimately is, like showing up in our live chat and staying the whole time because it was an amazing review.
Aaron Waldke has always been so cool to the Star Trek fan base and to us, Seventh Rule, Virtual Trek Con, and all the Star Trek fans on Twitter. He's a writer and co-producer on Prodigy season 1, and now in season 2 he's the co-showrunner. So that's really cool. It's really nice to see him in the live chat, kind of joining in the fun and answering questions. And he's always very active on Twitter, everybody. So go follow him on Twitter at Good Aaron. Yeah, that's really cool.
He's awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One other thought, though, is how cool would it be? How meta would it be if Lower Decks goes and visits Star Trek the animated series?
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean, they do already have those random species, but yeah, true.
And then like all of their eyes become the same color as their skin.
Oh my gosh.
Lower Decks hasn't done a time travel show yet, right? Like
I was totally thinking like, how fun would it be if they time traveled to like the Enterprise era so that you could bring back Enterprise that way?
I would love it.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a really good compliment to the crossover next year with Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah.
If they go back in time and they don't know where they're ending up,
and
then
they just show up dying.
They just show up on the bridge of the Enterprise and see Archer, and then Mariner goes, "Oh boy, come on." That would be cool. Anne Marie, brush up on your quantum link. Quantum leap story. She looked at me like, "What the fuck are you on?"
I was like, "This must be a quantum leap thing."
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, and speaking of Mariner, that episode kind of confirmed that Mariner was on the station during the Dominion War because Kira greeted her like an old friend, like they knew each other.
Yeah.
Trading war stories.
Interesting.
I didn't even think of that. Good point.
Even before, because of the chip, because when that Holo program was made of Kira, it was made before the Dominion War.
Right. Although Mariner has means to get access to things like that if she wants to, but she also
she has high security command code illegally.
But it's also she told a story about how she broke Worf's Metleth and then and got it repaired, and Worf never found out. And Worf is only on the station from seasons 4 to 7.
Great point. Well, except that one time he goes to the Rebel Mat and orders the penne that Geordi hates.
JR Poole says, yes, save Trip. You guys, we need to start a petition to have Lower Decks go back to Archer's Enterprise and save Trip.
Well, I already believe
then it
that
would
Trip
be canon.
Didn't die, but like confirm that he was beamed out somehow by Section 31 so that he didn't die.
Maybe. Or we could have Lower Decks go back in time to the Enterprise, no bloody ABs
to 2003, and they
numbers.
Prevented Enterprise from getting canceled.
Or they go back in time to find out that Riker's files were mistaken. They were inaccurate.
Like that Voyager episode.
They go back in time, all the way back to the year 2020, and they watch themselves on television.
Or they go back in time and help the Nielsen ratings know how to incorporate TiVo views so the Enterprise doesn't get canceled.
Yeah.
TiVo?
Yeah, that's like one of the factors that
is that still a thing? TiVo? Well, I thought that was like 90s or something.
It was like early 2000s, and that's one of the factors it is believed that like Enterprise was getting TiVo'd so much, like that hadn't started being factored into numbers of viewers. And so that led to the viewership being even smaller, according to Nielsen ratings. So
TiVo, our old nemesis.
Our nemesis.
That's also the last Next Generation movie. One Trek fan says, "Oh my God, save Trip, yes," with a lot of caps and a lot of S's.
And then catfish emojis.
Catfish emojis.
Yeah, he loves catfish.
Oh, that's right. There weren't. I didn't see any.
I know. I was looking for them. I'm like, where?
I added them in my headcanon.
Oh, okay.
Well, speaking of movies, you guys, do you want to talk a bit about Star Trek? Okay. First of all, we need,
because it's so funny, but yeah.
what? Okay, go ahead, Anne Marie.
Well, what were you gonna say? First of all, I don't know. It just felt like I'm always amused by like the ongoing joke for like the past 20 years that there's always like a Star Trek movie in the works. I mean, obviously we had 3, but there's all like the number one thing that's in the news for Star Trek is always like stuff about the movie. And this time it was like shocking how they even got beyond rumors. But like, so podcasts for Star Trek started, I don't know, like 2011, 2012. And when you go back and listen, like it becomes a running joke on all those older Star Trek podcasts. Like, well, we have Star Trek movie news. It like rarely is true or like comes to fruition. It's often like, there was even the debacle of like, it's not Khan, but then it was. And then this one was obviously never going to come out like in December of 2023. None of the actors knew what they were talking about. Like, it's just, it's like, there's always this huge buzz and they're always pushing articles about movies that never come. And it's just kind of like, why are you doing this? But I mean, it wouldn't be life without these crazy Star Trek movie fiascos. So I love it. It's like a weird, endearing part of the franchise.
Okay, so
like
the poll of the day. Sorry, we just have a quick poll here
Sure.
because we're always crying about them calling it Star Trek 4 when it should be Star Trek 14. It's very confusing. So the poll question is
fourth of the Abrams movies.
So I thought,
yeah, but if they call it Star
these...
Trek 4, then we're talking about the one with the whales, right?
Right.
Well, I figured like these new ones don't use Roman numerals, and that's the difference in their numbering. Like,
well, perfect that you should say that because the poll question is should the next Star Trek movie be Star Trek 4 or Star Trek 14? And the poll answers are Star Trek 4, Star Trek 14, or anything with Roman numerals. Anyway, you were saying, John?
What was I saying? I forgot. Oh, yes. No, I remember. No, to follow up Anne Marie's point, the Star Trek movies are one of the only times when Star Trek gets reported as a mainstream story. You know, like Strange New World kind of broke that barrier this year. But usually you never hear about Star Trek at all unless it's hey, Chris Pine's going to be back in a movie. And it's like, whoa, let's all get excited. We have announced a release date. Great. The director. Fantastic. And then 6 months later, boom, nothing happens. But then the cycle repeats itself over and over again. It's been going on for 6 years. That's the only time Star Trek gets mentioned in the mainstream.
Like, it's shocking that they gave a release date, and when they gave it, it was obviously too soon to be true. Like, it's kind of shocking because clearly there's going to be follow-up articles saying it's been canceled or whatever, which doesn't look good. So I'm always like surprised they want to like go that route. But... Well,
and especially since the actors haven't officially been hired yet.
So weird. And I guess they think all publicity is good publicity. It just feels so weird. And
or
like
maybe
it's
to gauge people's reception of this news. So they're just putting it out there to see how people react to it and then cancel it when they don't get the reaction they're looking for. Or, I don't know, they start backpedaling.
I believe last year what happened was that Paramount did some market research polling. And they found out that there was interest in seeing the Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto cast on a movie again. And they were like, great, because then we can exploit this IP. Let's get a movie slotted into production. And that's literally the reason why there's even an announcement for Star Trek 4 for December 2023. There's no story that I'd heard. You know, like nobody has did anybody really have a great idea for the Kelvin timeline? Which is going to be a whole other rant I'm going to go if you guys don't mind, because I have feelings about the Kelvin timeline.
Go ahead.
But
well, let's get everybody up to speed here. The news that came out just a day or two ago was that Star Trek 4 or 14, the next Star Trek movie, has been removed from the Paramount release calendar. as mentioned in several outlets, including this one, Deadline.com. Next Star Trek unset from Paramount release calendar. And you're right, John, that the movies are the things that make big news for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was kind of a story that went all over the place where everybody's saying, hey, they've been released from the Star Trek calendar, which is why we're talking about it now. We're like, well, it kept moving. It kept getting pushed back. First, it was June of next year. Then it was like December of next year. And we kept going, is it going to happen? This seems really exciting, but they haven't started shooting. And, you know, the actors were saying that they haven't even been contacted yet.
Right.
So, and they all have like really crazy schedules. You know, Chris Pine is kind of a big to-do. So is his dad, Chris Hemsworth, the guy that plays his dad. He's kind of a thing on Thor, you know, and they're all pretty big. So,
and there's a lot of them to wrangle.
Right.
A lot of schedules.
What's going to happen here? You know, like, are the Kelvin movies done? Are they going to be doing another one or are they going to keep trying? I mean, it sounds like they're not really happy with the script is what it boils down to. It seems like they're trying, and I've seen in a few places, you know, read a few things where, you know, Star Trek tries to use these, to your point, John, Star Trek tries to use these to get a broader fan base because movies bring in new fans. Like these Kelvin movies actually succeeded in bringing in new fans. So they're not trying to write necessarily a movie that's very super Star Trek. They're trying to write the big summer blockbuster that appeals to a lot of sci-fi fans to bring them into, you know, as evidence with Star Trek Beyond and all that with the Beastie Boys and motorcycles and stuff like that. It was like Fast and Furious for a second there. So I wonder if there's kind of this, it's got to be really difficult because they're trying to write a really good script for us Star Trek fans, but they're also trying to write a summer blockbuster script to bring in new fans, which is way more expensive to produce. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's something there.
I have a question. Do you think maybe that with all of the new Star Trek shows coming out, especially with how well Strange New Worlds has been received, that and it's kind of movie quality stuff that they're putting out, maybe if maybe that's itch is being scratched a bit in those areas, so they're not as in a rush to put out a Star Trek movie. So that
most definitely, I would feel that's the case. Here, the thing is now, you know, again, there's so much Star Trek on the air right now. It's movie, and it is movie quality. Discovery, Picard, Strange New Worlds. These are beautiful. These are beautiful movies, which were developed after the template was set from the J.J. Abrams film. So what Star Trek can be visually and in terms of production values, acting, you know, like it's a whole different thing. But now it's all on TV, which really where Star Trek belongs. Let's be honest. And so, yeah, I mean, is there a need for a Kelvin timeline movie? Is there even an idea? Is there a desire really to make a movie, except for the fact that we have an IP, that Paramount has an IP that they've got to exploit. They've got to make a movie, you know, to make some money, and as Ryan said, to bring in new fans, but also to, you know, their market research says that everybody wants to see these actors back together. So let's make it happen. But is your story?
I don't think people are going to movie theaters yet again that much after the pandemic. So also like if they release it to direct to streaming, it's just going to be weird because like you already have a lot of Star Trek to watch there anyway. So yeah.
And then you have Prodigy coming in too, bringing in younger fans to Star Trek, and it's with streaming, Star Trek is even more accessible to the world because there's nothing stopping from anyone from, you know, saying, oh, I hear so much about this, let's give this a try. I was wearing this out at Trader Joe's today, and the cashier was like, oh, you're a Star Trek fan, that's so awesome, I haven't really checked it out yet. So, but the curiosity was there, and with streaming, it just makes it that much more accessible than it used to be. when you would have to plan a time to watch it. Sit down and watch Star Trek. You can watch it whenever you want. Really,
I just don't think people who like the general audience that the movies are supposed to appeal to, like if they're not just like where you're living in parts of the country where you just go to movies every week, like I don't think those same people will be like, let me pay for Paramount Plus to watch the Star Trek movie on there. Like it's more just like you're going to the movie theater and that's the event.
Yeah, it's got to be bigger than Paramount. It's got to be bigger than a streaming service.
Yeah,
for what they're trying
it's
to
no
do.
Hocus Pocus too, where I
right.
Disney Plus today. But yeah, and then the other thing is like with the Roman numeral thing, I think they have to call it 4 because if you start calling it like 14, that number is so intimidating to new viewers. Like I'm sure a lot of people would be like 14, like holy shit, like that's 14 seems like too high of a number to just casually go to. Sounds like you have missed a lot, even though obviously like it's still just the 4th Kelvin.
And another problem that they're probably running into, if you sit down, it's like, okay, I'm going to write the new Star Trek movie with Chris Pine and the Kelvin in this timeline in the J.J. Abrams universe. Like, what was special about it? Well, in 2009, when the first movie came out, there was no Star Trek at all. Enterprise was canceled. Yeah. 4 years have gone by, nothing, no TV, nothing. So the idea of, oh my God, we get Kirk and Spock back, and they're young, and they're movie stars, and they're
and JJ's so hot right now. Lost, like
So that was special, but now it's like, okay, like young Kirk and Spock, we have it already in the prime timeline, in Strange New Worlds, we have it. So like, and the young Kirk and Spock of the movies aren't young Kirk and Spock anymore. They're actually getting close to how old Kirk was in Star Trek 2. Like, Chris Pine's 42, and by the time this movie actually gets made, he might actually be 50.
We got to see Chris Pine with the perm, with the perm Kirk
hair,
the tribble.
Oh yeah, I think it's so my brain went somewhere else, but yes, that would be something.
Wearing the glasses, wearing the half reading glasses.
So we've got another poll, everybody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
No, that's fine. So I was just reiterating what I had already said. A lot of what was special about the Kelvin movies actually is already in the current shows. So it's like, what is the real need to do a Kelvin movie? From a creative standpoint, not from a let's make a bunch of money for Paramount standpoint.
Well, I think that's what it is, though. Is I think that everything is a business. And the series are to sell Paramount Plus. That's what these series are for. Obviously, there's merchandising, there's all kinds of other things, but the main thing is every company needs a flagship. A flagship is landing to launch their streaming service or to get everybody to go to their streaming service, whether it was House of Cards or Stranger Things or Game of Thrones or whatever it was. And Star Trek is that for Paramount Plus. So and it's working great for them, it seems. But movies are different. Some of them, they do movies just to go straight to streaming because those guys need that kind of help. But this movie, if they're going to be making a movie, I can't imagine it's going to be for streaming. It's got to be a big blockbuster
why
thing,
doesn't I feel like at this point not start over with the cast recasting the original series again? It just doesn't need to be that cast. And like there isn't that same like cast loyalty for like 3 movies ever that there was for like the TOS movies, because they had been like based on a TV series. So like I'm a big fan of them making movies because it gets in so many new fans, but I don't think there should have to be this push like, okay, it has to be another movie with the same old cast.
But then what would it be? That it's tough to introduce a new cast that nobody, that's not a safe bet. It could even be like a product, like a Pixar type movie, and like a separate kind of like. At this point, I do think like a lot of adults already are roped in if they're going to be into Star Trek, because like they're covering so many decades now, and it covers all ages of like when Star Trek was on in different decades. But like you still need to get kids involved. So speaking of which, Mike McMahon was saying when he was on the 7th Rule last week, he was saying he wants to do a Lower Decks movie. Now it could have been in jest,
Be
but it's
awesome.
sure, but I guess maybe that's not really linked to kids, Lower Decks, but
Yeah, but
I think
still,
it would be freaking awesome to have a Lower
Yeah.
Decks movie.
well, yeah. And I mean, the creator of Rick and Morty is, I mean, there's a lot of fan people that come with that too. And if he's doing a movie, even if it's Star Trek, I think, yeah, that's a great idea.
So our poll is, do you want to see a fourth Kelvin movie? 7% of you said, I don't really want any Trek movies. And
I don't want to
45%
personally see them. I like to think that-
45% of you said, yes, I love them. And 48% of you said, nah, go in a different direction. So it's pretty neck and neck. It's pretty 50-50 there. Yeah, I wonder, honestly, after the third Kelvin movie, I felt like I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm good with this crew. I'm good with the BC Boys motorcycle stuff. I'm good with all, I'm ready to move on. But now, 6 years later, when I look back, I'm like, actually, I kind of miss those guys. I actually want to see them again. I want to see those familiar faces one more time. I want to see, Scotty and Uhura and all of them. And I want to see some kind of tribute to Anton. I think that would be great. And, bring somebody else in, like bring Jayla back or Carol Marcus, or something like that, or somebody else from the original series. I think it would be great. And I'd be happy to see that crew again one more time. And then we can make some other kind of movie, because that's the tough question is, do they want to make a movie based on one of the series that are actually going right now? Or do they want to create a whole new crew? Because that is a really big gamble to
It is a huge gamble.
To put $500 million or whatever into a movie that is an unknown quantity, where it's like, it's not Next Generation, it's not original series, it's not even an original series reboot. It's just a completely new and different crew. That is a giant gamble for the amount of money they have. And I don't know if that's something that they'd be willing to do. I'm not privy to anything. That would just be my guess financially. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's also really hard to think about, like, what kind of story could they tell in the Kelvin universe right now? Because the first three movies burned through so many tropes from the original series and the Star Trek movies. They did Khan. They did the Enterprise blowing up. They blew up Vulcan. They blew up, they attacked Earth. They had the evil renegades admiral. Like, they did so many tropes, like, in just three movies. Like, and so what do you do now? Like, what do you do with it? Like, do you tell another story about Kirk getting old? Like, do you kill one of them again? Like what do you do? It's really a conundrum of, like, what kind of Star Trek movie is this actually going to be, and like what the story will be. It's really tough to try to figure that out.
Right. Without it being regurgitation, in a sense.
Right. Which the first three movies did a lot of regurgitation.
Right.
It was, like, and everybody hated Into Darkness in terms of, like, rehashing Khan and lying about Khan, which is also
they did.
Yeah, they really hated it.
Well, Nathaniel in the live chat, Nathaniel Robinson says, whatever comes next, film or series, please let it be something outside Starfleet or not on a starship. Dude, how about Star Trek, the Orion Syndicate?
That would be cool.
Like, they can make it soap opera-y, they can make it, gangster kind of stuff. I mean,
it'd be so great.
And then they could have different races,
or Cardassia. Where are they now? That was a broken world.
Turns.
Yeah.
I'd watch that. Neelix and Kes would watch that. They love soap operas.
Really? I don't remember that.
Future's End, baby.
Anne Marie, do you love soap operas?
Oh my God, I was so addicted to Passions and Guiding Light. They're both off the air, so now I don't watch any.
I was in a few soap operas, neither of those. I was in Days of Our Lives a bunch, General Hospital, and The Young and the Restless. I think those were the three main ones that I was in. Those are fun days.
They're
Easy
so
days.
good. The best was in Passion.
I've
Like
never
one of
watched
the main
one.
people was Mike Westmore's daughter.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I'm really into this Star Trek movie talk, to be honest. Like, oh, it's got the juices flowing. It seems like people are really jonesing for a new movie. I mean, we've gotten so many series that we're pretty okay right now. You know, we're not like starving, right? We're not dying over here like we were in 2009 when the first JJ movie came out. We were dying. Now we're like, hey, I'd love a movie, but that's icing on the cake, you know. But I do miss those Kelvin guys, and I think a movie probably has to be in that Kelvin timeline. I don't know, but I do think it would be cool to have like an Orion Syndicate series.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty.
Or just like a straight up kids movie. That is
Prodigy movie.
who I want to like recruit from.
I think a Prodigy movie would be a great idea because it doesn't have to be that big blockbuster thing. It's not as enormous of a gamble, you know. It could just be after season 2, right? Season 2 comes out and it bridges season 2 and season 3. It's like to be continued in the summer of 2024 blockbuster movie.
And then you have 2 networks promoting it. You have Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon to back it. Why not?
Yeah. John, you're way more in the know than any of us. Have you heard anything or any rumblings about the movie or why things have been slowed down or what they're throwing around, if they're considering something outside of that?
Well, the movie got torpedoed because the director jumped to Marvel Studios for Fantastic Four.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the gig. That's the gig that stole him away. So, but that also, you know, when that happened, I had to ask myself and I had no real information to go on about this, but I had to ask myself, like, how far along were they in developing the Star Trek movie that the director was just able to just bail and just go jump to Marvel? You know, like, where were they? And you know, was there a script? Was it an idea? You know, was there an idea the studio liked and the director liked, or maybe the director wanted to do something the studio was like, you know, it's hard to say.
How are people announced without contracts? Which I also
I did read an article that said that the director had seen a script and that he did like it, but he left the production to go to Marvel because I guess probably they were further along than the Star Trek movie, and it's Marvel, you know.
Yeah, Marvel's kind of hot right now.
Yeah. It's kind of
also like, why would you have a writer writing for the Kelvin universe before you've confirmed the actors are even there? Like, it's so weird.
Well, you start with the script, so I mean, at the very least, you got to have the story down before you even start pitching it to actors.
But like, it's written for the specific actors, so you think they at least like know, because it kind of, that script is contingent on specific people.
Right, so but then you would work out the timeline to where it would fit everybody's schedule. But also from what I read, none of the actors had seen the script, so had been confirmed on anything. So the director's seen it and he liked it, but then he bails, but nobody else has seen it. So it sounds like they're pretty early in pre-production stages.
And the date announced was such a joke.
And it seems like the script has changed a few times too.
Right.
Like first they had a
and
Quentin
it'll change again
Tarantino
with
script.
Yeah.
And then I think before Quentin Tarantino script, they had one before that even where it was like a time travel one where George Kirk was coming back. And then that got nixed because George Kirk was too expensive, right? Or what's his name? Chris Hemsworth was too expensive or something like that. And then fact check me, everybody, but I think that it was something like that. It was about, you know, pricing there. And then we had the Tarantino thing. And so this is at least the third different script or third different iteration or third different try. And this is being nixed. Now, we don't know if the script itself is being dropped, or if they're very happy with the script, they just need to get a new director and they're right back on this horse, right? We don't really know that.
Yeah, who knows?
Rose Kirby asked, big question, is Star Trek 4 or Star Trek the movie dead? We don't know for sure, Rose Kirby. We know that it's been delayed. And then from there, we Star Trek fans just start surmising and guessing and theorizing like, oh, what's next? But we don't know for sure if it's dead. We just know that for now it's been delayed. It was originally June of 2023, then pushed to, I think, December of 2023. And now it's removed from the release calendar. So there is no date attached to it anymore. Matt Boardman asked, Ryan, did you ever work with Heather Tom during your soap opera gigs? That name sounds familiar, but I don't know why. So I'm going to say no. Like I don't have it doesn't match anything in my brain. Anyway.
Maybe they just had to put that release date because there was like a shareholder meeting or something and they needed like an impressive like handout.
Everything is money. Our buddy Scott Jensen says it's Fantastic Four. Those movies aren't known to be really good. Yeah, but this new one probably will be. I haven't seen any of the Fantastic Four movies, although I will say our friend Doug Jones was in one of them playing the Silver Surfer. So check out Doug Jones of Star Trek Discovery
from
fame.
Hocus Pocus?
And Hocus Pocus, of course.
Hocus Pocus is Doug Jones?
Oh my gosh, the movie today was so good. I can't even get over it.
Right. You watched it today, Hocus Pocus, the new one?
I watched it when it came out at 3 a.m. Oh, and I have like a set of candles, so I saved the black flame candle for this morning. And yeah, and also there's a quote in there where like Winifred says, "Resistance is futile," and I was like, "Oh my god, you said it."
Which one is Winifred?
Bette Midler, the main one. It was like I had zero expectations going into it, and it just blew my mind. It was the best sequel. I was like, maybe since Godfather 2. It was so good.
Better than The Wrath of Khan?
I mean, I knew everybody would say, look, that's the best sequel, but like, I don't know, I'm not. This was just, I mean, I had no idea it would be this good. It's really fun. It's super clever.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be good. I think Fantastic Four is gonna be good because isn't it moving over to Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Yes.
So their movies are pretty good. Their TV shows don't do it for me, but almost all of their movies do. So I have a feeling it's going to be better than previous This will be the Fantastic Five, and they're going to be great. Do we know anything about Fantastic Four? Like the cast or anything?
No, nothing. Nothing's been announced. I mean, we don't even know if it's going to be John Krasinski because he was Mr. Fantastic in Doctor Strange, but we don't know if he's going to be the Mr. Fantastic in Fantastic Four, or if that was just like a fan service casting because everybody wanted to see him as Mr. Fantastic, and they just put him in Doctor Strange.
Oh, they'll probably keep it consistent then, right? I mean, it's the same franchise. It's still all under the Marvel umbrella. Uh-oh, we're losing Melissa and Anne Marie. We're losing them. We're losing them. They're about to nap.
I was just reading about Hocus Pocus.
I looked down at the screen on my laptop from the live chat and saw Quark in John's background, and he looks so good. I was just thinking, gosh, he looks good.
Yeah.
So great to see them. Yeah.
If you guys start falling asleep on us, John and I are going to do a full segment on wrestling, and it's going to be so cool. We're going to talk about WrestleMania 3 between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Yes.
I think that's right. That's right. Yeah.
WrestleMania. You need to show your wrestling moves.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Oh,
again. You guys mocked me last time.
No,
I tried to.
it was so good.
John, when I tried to teach them about P.D. Williams, you remember P.D. Williams?
Yes, the Canadian destroyer.
Exactly, the definition of definition. And I was trying to explain to them, what his finishing move, as you mentioned, and they just mocked me.
No. So we need another demonstration, and then we need a
No.
demonstration from John to see if you got it right.
No, John is going to give us a demonstration of Hulk Hogan's old finishing move, which was the leg drop.
The leg drop, the easiest finishing move to do.
I know, that was the weakest thing ever.
So,
But I
okay, John,
loved it.
let's go.
Anyway, so everybody in the live chat, tell us your favorite wrestling finishing move ever. What's
the
yours,
one
Melissa?
called? I was about to say, what's the one called where they're on the shoulders and they're going around in circles and then they go?
The airplane spin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's
person
an old
standing
move.
is going in circles?
The
The
person
airplane
has
spin.
has another person across their body on their shoulders and they're spinning around in circles.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they drop them.
I thought you meant like a pizza guy, like he's spinning.
No, but I do also like the jumps from the corner on top of the ropes. Those are fun.
Oh yeah.
Coco Beware made that pretty popular back in the day. Anne Marie, what was your favorite Coco Beware move?
Yeah. I should say bye to Peter. He has to go to drinks.
See you later, Peter. Peter Karuba.
Love
He
you.
says-
We love you.
Well, gots to go, heading to the Castro for pre-Castro Street Fair cocktails.
Ooh,
Have fun, Peter.
yeah.
Good old Pete. Anyway, so Amory, your favorite, you remember Coco Beware's parrot?
I have no idea what any of that means,
You
except
need-
for remember.
You need help?
Yes.
You need help?
Lifeline, call a
Okay.
friend, John.
Coco Beware's parrot's name.
Nice.
Coco Beware's parrot's name was Frankie Beware.
Frankie, yes.
Oh,
You're right. Wow,
cool.
good knowledge. Excellent knowledge. Scott Jensen says, best finishing move of all time is the future 4-leg lock.
Figure four.
Okay, so
Yeah, they said future, but I was like, wait, yeah,
It
figure.
does
Oh,
say
now I deleted it. Yeah, figure 4 leg lock is badass. And if you flip it over and combine it with a Boston crab, it's like the sharpshooter, right?
So
Yeah.
we need a demonstration of
Clover.
this.
No, that's not doable. While sitting.
Not with your fingers?
T-
No, it doesn't work that way.
Oh, yeah, kinda. You probably could, because it's like DJ Kitty Cat says the people's elbow.
Oh, what's
Oh,
I
that?
wonder if you could do a figure 4 leg lock with it. You kind of could, but whatever.
What's the people's elbow?
People's elbow is the Rock's move.
Is
So-
it this?
Katsi.
Well, sort of. He bounces off the. He stands in front of his opponent, and he does this ridiculous pose where he rips off his elbow pad,
Elbow
throws it to the
pads.
crowd. Then he does this thing. Then he bounces off the ropes one set, bounces off the ropes the other side. Then he stops, does a ridiculous spin. Then he drops an elbow.
That's
And
really
somehow,
good.
and somehow it knocks people out. It finishes them off.
They like
That is
flip
so
around like a
flamboyant.
fish out of water.
Yeah, exactly. It debilitates them.
But, like, what are the people doing while he does all of the pre-moves?
Just watching him.
Pretending to be knocked out.
Watch it.
They're like pretending to be knocked out, and then he hits them, and they're like, they throw
Yeah,
themselves.
it takes
out.
forever. It takes forever for him to do the move, and the guy just lies there and just waits for it.
That's hilarious.
Or they're so dazzled by the bouncing off of the ropes, which I always wanted to bounce off the ropes because that looks fun.
Yeah.
But the bouncing from back and forth, it's so distracting.
I'll send you something on Twitter. I'll show you. The
You're making
goofiest
me
people's
wanna
elbows.
watch. I had no idea they had like their own moves then.
What? No, that's what wrestling is. Every wrestler has their own signature move.
So
Oh
artistic.
my God, you're really hurting John right now, Anne Marie. Okay. Okay, you guys ready for the people's elbow?
Yes.
Here it is.
Oh yeah.
All right. Everybody in the live chat, yeah, they want it.
Bated breath.
Oh, that's what wrestling is. Every wrestler has their own signature move.
So artistic.
God, you're really hurting John right now. Okay. Okay, you guys ready for the people's elbow?
Yes.
Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Everybody
He's
there, we could just.
He was in a full suit.
That is hilarious.
Boom.
Oh my gosh.
Boom.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing of the week.
Yeah,
And you're not even seeing the whole wind up, too.
Well, the leg move before the drop is really funny.
Oh my gosh.
Every single time. It's like he's gonna do air guitar before he drops.
It's like a
Yeah,
ballet.
that's not even like the whole, but yeah, like John says, he throws off elbow. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
kind
the
of
whole
the
thing that goes
theatrics
into
of
it.
Okay.
wrestling.
You and John's description of that was super spot on and amazing. Oh, whoa.
I've seen a million of them, literally a million of them.
That's fun.
Or he
Yeah.
might be channeling Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty good Michael Jackson moves.
Yeah.
So-
that is too funny.
Let's talk about the week ahead, everybody, because you guys, we talked about Star Trek so much over the last 82 minutes that we got to talk about the week ahead. First things first, this coming Sunday, the Seventh Rule is releasing our review of, let's see, where are we here? Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 17, Penumbra. Remember Penumbra, kind of where it all starts. So check that out. That's at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. That's on the Seventh Rule channel. Then the following day, this coming Monday, also on the Seventh Rule, we will be releasing the full review of Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 13, Field of Fire, with writer-producer Robert Hewitt-Wolf. Robert Hewitt-Wolf is finally returning to the Seventh Rule.
He's so cool.
Because, yeah, he didn't work on Deep Space Nine for a while, and then all of a sudden he did. Well, how'd that happen? Watch the episode and find out, because we will ask him that. So that is this coming Monday. What is that? October 3rd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I know it's already October. That's it.
Crazy.
It's October 3rd.
Then next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on this virtual TrekCon channel, live, we will be talking about the big news of the week. We can tell you now that what StarTrek.com will be releasing on Monday morning. We have no idea, but we will cover it when they do it. If they do. If they don't have any news for us, we'll just go scour Twitter and find something. Also, this coming Wednesday, that is whatever the 5th, Falling Tower, that is Falling Tower on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We are starting our horror month on Falling Tower. It is going to be crazy. And we've got a review of American Horror Story on Hulu, American Horror Story, with filmmaker Neil Patrick Stevens. He's a horror filmmaker, and he will be joining us. Neil Patrick Stevens. That's on Wednesday. And then Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Seventh Rule, we will review episode 7 of Lower Decks, season 3, and it's going to be fun. And then on Friday, now we're done. All right.
And then next week we get to talk all about New York Comic Con.
Yes, I was going to say. New York Comic Con is next weekend.
Cool.
It's gonna get crazy.
So that means what does it start on a Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
Oh,
Thursday. And I just saw I wish someone would put out how Dragon Con has the Star Trek track and they just tell you. It'd be nice if the website like New York Comic Con would tell you the Star Trek track, because when I was reading through the panels and the photo ops, for example, like Chase Masterson's got a panel, but like you don't really know that unless you happen to see Pop Culture Hero Collision. Like it's not all in one place. And then I think like Melissa Navia and Anson Mount aren't on panels, but they're doing autographs and like photo ops. And I'm sure there are more things like that. I just haven't noticed yet.
Dave Mattingly in the live chat says, John, nice Niners shirt.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
I made it myself. I didn't make it myself.
Oh, and Scott Jensen said that tomorrow is the release an audio podcast of Far Beyond the Stars. And that's a good reminder to make sure you're giving iTunes 7th Rule 5 stars and leaving a review.
Anne-Marie gets it. You guys,
and your review may be read on the 7th Rule.
Go check out the 7th Rule on any podcast thing, iTunes, whatever you do it. Google, there's Spreaker, there's Podcast Addict, there are all kinds of crazy ones. Yeah, they're everywhere. So wherever you listen to your thing, go check out the 7th Rule and the 7th Rule 2. 7th Rule 2 is all the new stuff, and the 7th Rule proper is all the Deep Space Nine stuff. Scott Jensen is re-editing the sound and uploading them daily for us, so go check that out. Tomorrow morning, Far Beyond the Stars hits. Man alive, you want to get up on that. And also, Scott Jensen tells us his birthday is October 3rd.
Yes, I screenshotted that and added it to my calendar.
So happy birthday to you, Scott Jensen, in case we forget.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Kirk sprinkles everybody.
All right. Dave Mattingly says, death to the opposition. He gets it.
Yes.
So, John Orchiola, on our way out now, where can everybody find you online, and any specific articles you'd like them to go check out?
I mean, they're all good. So yeah, you can find my stuff at screenrant.com. And I'll drop a little bit of news in terms of our Star Trek coverage at Screen Rant. I was in a meeting today where we began talking about expanding Star Trek at Screen Rant and making it a destination for all Trekkers. So things are going to get very, very, there's going to be a lot more Star Trek coming with me involved. And
Screen Trek.
Screen Trek. Trek Rant. There's going to be a lot of it coming. So our coverage is going to increase, hopefully, and it'll be great. So you can find me at
congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll see. We just started talking about it, but the plans sound really, really ambitious and really exciting. So yeah, it's going to be
awesome.
Great. We love Star Trek at Screen Rant, and we want everybody to come to Screen Rant for Star Trek. So that's going to be the big plan over the next few months, maybe in a year, and we'll see. And other than that, it's social media, Twitter and Instagram at Back of the Head.
Awesome.
Back of the Head, everybody, at Back of the Head. What about you, Melissa Longo? What's up with you?
What's up with me? A lot is going up on my page at the Introverted Republic. Walking art made by Melissa has branched out to the Introverted Republic.
What's happening here?
And slow and steady wins the race. There's a lot of work going on there that takes a lot of time, but it's happening, and very soon more stuff is going up. Yay, exciting. As well as I'm branching out into different territory as well, as far as comics and some animation, little animated videos. But yeah, so, and you can find me on social media, Melissa Longo. Woo-hoo.
Melissa Longo. There it is. Anne-Marie, now is the time to tell them that you and I and John will be doing our Wrestling Talk Live tomorrow. Go ahead and tell them about that.
Yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Anne-Marie Siegel 1.
Everybody in the live chat, if you'd like to see Dr. Anne-Marie Seagull doing wrestling live talk every Saturday night, instead of going out and partying or hanging out with your friends or doing something
Saturdays
you
are my
enjoy.
Star Trek nonprofit parties to probably go, so I can't. Sorry, whoops, can't make it.
Every Sunday night, right here live, Anne-Marie, she'll be talking about what's his name?
Okay,
John
I do
Morrison.
listen to the podcast sometimes, Fights in Tights. That's about wrestling.
You listen to a wrestling podcast?
Well, it's on the same network as Greatest Generation, and so occasionally I listen to it because it's funny. But I really like the name, Fights in Tights. Hilarious.
Wow. So you'll listen to a podcast even if it's
I don't
not
listen to
covering something
anything.
that. All right. Sounds good. Everybody at home, yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Ryan TG Husk. That's at Ryan TG Husk, or just Virtual TrekCon, the Seventh Rule Falling Tower on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Falling Tower needs more subscribers, you guys. We're like barely over 1 million. It's embarrassing. Can you please go over to Falling Tower on YouTube and go subscribe so that we're not so embarrassed all the time? Thank you for everything. You guys have been super fun. Just Rosie, Scott Jensen, War Dog Heim, Chuck A, Just Rosie, May Borello. You had a really cool lower decks thing with like purple hairs. Yeah. That was fun. Good job. JR Poole, I think we said Faith Howell said ha 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 ha. I'm not sure about what, but she did. Dave Mattingly, Bob D, thank you all. It's been great. We will see you next time, Galinda. And until then, you guys have a chill weekend. You've earned it, right?
Mm-hmm.